Okay, I am with Darren. A surprisingly downbeat looking Darren, considering you've just had a 4-0 win in the FA Vase and are through to the third round.
Yeah, you would have thought so, eh? Um, I think I'm never going to compromise my expectations and values as a manager. So, the result is great. Well pleased for the boys to have secured themselves a place in the draw, and the third round tie beckons. And we were fairly convincing first half, I think. But for me, the lack of quality, the lack of ingenuity, the lack of effort in some cases from us in the second half. It's frustrating.
Yeah, I get that. I think we've touched on before the interview that when you're 3-0 up after, 4-0 up after 28 minutes, let's get the scoreline right this week. When you're 4-0 up after 28 minutes, to get the boys to maintain the level of intensity in the second half is always going to be a tough ask. But you do want them to make the right decisions at the right times, which I think we were guilty of not doing. I mean, second half playing with a gale, you'd have thought we'd have kept the ball on the floor, but we didn't do that. We just kept going straight.
Yeah, that
and kept going back to the keeper.
would seem to be the obvious thing to do, wouldn't it? Really?
Really, yeah.
Yeah, if the wind's blowing and it's swirling and circling and in your face or on your backs, get it on the floor, move the ball quickly, work hard, be available. It's not rocket science, is it?
No, not at all. But as we say, we really didn't do that in the second half, and it was quite a poor performance. When you look at their options in the second half, the introduction of Atto, who obviously used to play for us, seemed to liven them up massively.
Absolutely, he's a good player.
Michael was forced into a couple of decent saves.
Yeah.
They ran at us, which they hadn't been doing in the first half. And you wonder if he'd have been fit enough to start, could that have had a bit of a different impact on the game?
Undoubtedly. I mean, he's a good player. And we said, even with the score at 4-0, the introduction of him with 20 minutes to go, we knew, was going to change the dynamic. So he didn't disappoint. I think he's a good player, and you know what you're going to get from him.
Okay, let's talk about us for a bit then. First half, the first 28 minutes we were excellent. We were moving the ball quickly. We took our goals really well. I mean, Ollie Tram's volley for the first goal was superb.
Yes.
Adam's done well. Can't stop scoring for the header. And Ollie's second finish again was a decent one.
Absolutely, yeah. Thought he'd overplayed that, to be fair. But...
Yeah, agreed. Page's finish was, you expect him to score from a yard, so he didn't disappoint. But then we had a couple of other chances which we didn't really trouble the keeper with. But it all dropped after that.
I think in the first half, Gal, and without exaggeration, I think if we'd have put 3 or 4 to the tally, and it had been 7 or 8, I don't think no one would have had too many complaints. I thought we were dominant. I thought we would move the ball fairly well. Certainly, you're right. We looked far more clinical. Second half, like I said, it was almost like after the Lord Mayor's show. Really, it just felt like. It felt like we thought that the tie was out of sight and we could kind of showboat and we could, take a few liberties and not impressed. And I said to them, at the end of the day, forget whether this game was won or not in their opinion. To me, they continue to play for their places. So, looking forward, we got some tough games coming up. The next 2, one away, one at home. Saturday we only a short trip to Molesey, but they're on good form at the moment. And then, a toughie with Abbey at home on the Monday. So, if people think that it's acceptable to put in below par performances for 45 minutes in some cases, then they can't come knocking on my door if they suddenly find themselves sitting on a duty next weekend.
That's fair enough. And when you look at what you've got on the bench as well, the lads who didn't get on, I mean...
absolutely. Phenomenal.
It's frightening. One thing that must have pleased you was being able to introduce young Brad from the under-18s.
Yes.
Give him a debut.
Yeah.
It's always nice when you can bring a youngster on and get him some first team minutes. Obviously, being 4-0 up helped.
Absolutely.
And how do you think he got on?
I think it would be good for his footballing education today, because I think he's a lad with a bright future. He's head and shoulders one that gets relied on at his age group within the under-18s team, which have obviously had a really, really successful FA Cup run until this week. I think today he would have realised the difference in time and in quality. But I think it's great for him. He's been out there and he's been able to experience it today, and that can only stand him in good stead.
Yeah, I think you're right there. I mean, long term, it's good for him to get some exposure at the senior level. Short term, he'll understand the level of intensity that you need to bring onto the pitch.
Absolutely.
From under 18s to first team.
Yes.
Okay, we've asked before. What do you want in the next round?
A bye. If we don't seem to get them in this competition. So I think. Do you know what? I'm torn. I think a home game. I think we're reasonably formidable. I think our away form of late has been better than our home form. Take the first 45 today out of the equation. So I think some of the boys would perhaps embrace a bit of a team building day, maybe a coach journey somewhere. Do you know what? Like I said, I think we're getting to the serious stage of the competition at the third round. So third round proper. So maybe if it was my personal opinion, just my personal opinion, I'd say ideally a home draw.
Okay, that's fair enough.
On a Friday night with a decent crowd.
Yeah, well, that would be the perfect storm, wouldn't it?
Although, from memory, the next round is the 30th of November, I believe, I'm right in saying, and if that's the case, I think we're scheduled a home game on that day against Shearwater, so
okay.
If we were drawn at home,
Then it would be
a Saturday, I believe, yeah.
Okay, well, thank you very much, mate. Congratulations on the win, even if it wasn't as in the style that you would have wanted for 45 minutes. Mm-hmm. And let's see what Monday brings.
Cheers, Gary.